Okay, probability. Um, the good news is there really isn't, with this particular part of probability, there really isn't anything new to learn. The skills are still the same as Year 9 and Year 10. Of course, you're in year 11 and Year 12, so the questions are going to be a little bit more difficult, but otherwise there really isn't anything new to learn. These are good to get used to, these particular letters and symbols. So whenever you see for all real or for all n, it means all set of natural numbers. When you see all z, it's set of integers. When you see q, q is all rational numbers. Rational numbers mean that they can be written as a fraction. When you see r, they're the set of real numbers, so not imaginary, but just real. So they can be negative and whatnot, and fractions and rational and everything like that. And upside down capital A means for all. So it's just good. You will use this a little bit, or you will see this a little bit in probability. We won't use them much, but it's good to get used to it in case you do come across it in your textbooks or whatnot. At least you've got a heads up on it. So integers, rational numbers, real numbers, and natural numbers. All right, let's get to look at what we're trying to pretty much cover, and then you'll know that yeah, most of this is just the same as year 9 and year 10. So language of probability, you're going to look at what probability are, sample spaces, impossible events, complementary events, some experimental probability, invalid arguments, pretty straightforward stuff. You'll look at representing your sample spaces using a few different methods, so like tables or lists, tree diagrams, and like a mixed bag. You'll see what that means in a sec. Venn diagrams, we'll be looking at those Venn diagrams again, and that's when those symbols are going to come in handy. Then you're going to look at multi-stage events, where one event is dependent or independent to another event. So we'll look at these. These are like the raffle ticket style questions. We'll look at some balance tree diagrams, and then something that will be new and that you probably haven't done before, conditional probability. So that should be the only new thing. Otherwise, like I said, majority of this will be what you already know, just applied obviously to year 11, year 12 style questions. So we'll probably cover, I think we'll cover up to tree diagrams today, depending on how we go, and then I might leave some of the harder stuff for next week, and then we'll finish it off pretty much next week. Just so I can make sure your basic probability skills are up to level before I can do the harder stuff. So we'll see how we go anyways. I'm not going to bore you with some of this definition stuff. You guys can look at that in your own work, and I'll send you the solutions to all this as well after we're done. So I don't think we need much of this beginning stuff. Let's just scroll down. Okay, so obviously you do need to know that all probabilities are between 0 and 1, and I think that's just given. So again, I'm not going to bore you with that. Complementary events. It's obviously the opposite of the event occurring. So you got to keep that in mind. So if we're talking about, probability of flipping a head, that is the same as me saying, well, it's 1 minus the probability of flipping a tail. So it's good to remember complementary events like this. So the complementary of an event is 1 minus the opposite of that event. So if you wanted to work out the probability of a head, it'll be 1 minus the probability of working out that it's not a head, which means it's a tail. Okay? And when you see, so the clue is when the word or phrase of not or at least once appears in questions or in problems, is more likely trying to tell you to use complementary situations. So the note you want to take on there is, if I ever see the word not or at least once, your brain's got to direct you straight to it. Right? So if you see not or at least once, complementary events. Okay. I just remembered, I think I've got to add, because I can see I'm getting a call. So let me give me 1 second.